Yo, it's Chessmate here, and today we're peeling back the hood of a seemingly normal Scandinavian defense only to discover it's basically a ticking time bomb, courtesy of Magnus Carlsen. Yep, even when you think you've seen everything, he hits you with fresh tactics. So grab your coffee, sharpen your pencils, and let's dive in. Black goes Scandinavian. If you play this at club level, you're like, quick queen sorties, tempo gains, why not? But against Magnus? It's like bringing a butter knife to a gunfight. Stockfish gives black a tiny edge for tempo, but look, notice how the queen's out in the open. White's next few moves will all be about hitting that queen and grabbing space. Classic tempo warfare. Here's a neat trick: trade on e2 and recapture with the knight, not the queen. Why? The knight on e2 hops to c3 or g3, and the queen stays versatile for later tactics. Smart, right? All normal development, but pay attention to move 7 c3. Carlsen is laying groundwork for c4, controlling d4, and saying no sir, you can't just push into my center. Good move order, very engine-ish. Boom. c4 hits the heart. Black plays c6 to blunt it. Already, white's space advantage is creeping up. This is the kind of subtle pressure that wins games. Why 1 rupee? Hint, e4 e5 break later. It's prophylaxis plus future firepower on the e-file. Black's nbd7 is fine, but it blocks his light-squared bishop, slightly passive mix-up. c5 is pure magnificent Magnus, locks down d6 and cramps black. Then a3 preps b4. These pawn moves aren't random, they're like painting yourself into a corner from which there's no escape for your opponent. bf4 nails the d6 pawn to the wall and ic7. Black tries qb7, but that queen is already starting to look like a sitting duck. This is textbook: use your pawn majority on the queen side. b4 seizes space, and once black obliges with ax4, you get rook on b1 for free. Coordinate your heavy pieces. Rook on b1, queen on c2, knight on c3, everything clicks. h4 is cheeky, gains space, hints at h5 later, and can prepare a rook lift via h1. bg5 adds more pressure. When black plays f6 to unpin, they open up dark squares around their king. That's when Magnus smells blood, time to pounce. dd2 retreats with purpose, neither rushed nor timid. nxc3 looks active, but after qxc3, white's queen hits the center and the queenside simultaneously. rd5? A bold attempt to counterattack, but that rook is overextended and ripe for tactics. King to g2 vacates f1 for a potential rook swing, like rfd1, and sidesteps backrank threats. Black doubles rooks, fine, but they're on the wrong side of the board. Now watch the taming of the beast. e5 seems logical, hitting the center, but cxb6 tears open black's structure. After exd4, black simply overlooks the power of a centralized queen backed by rooks and knight. This is the killer blow: pin, dent, and dominate. qc4 pins the d5 rook to the king, and suddenly black's back is to the wall. No good squares left. nxd4 consolidates, freeing an endgame advantage if the tactics fizzle, while nf5 jumps into the attack, threatening g7 and e7 forks. Black's king runs for cover. We love a piece sacrifice to open the king cage. rxg7 yanks the g-pawn away, and when black takes, the king is left naked. Boom! The entire army converges rook, queen, knight like a heat-seeking missile. Checkmate on g7. Pure Gotham vibes: build small advantages, then unleash a savage tactic. 1. Pawn grips win games. Moves like c5 and b4 aren't flashy, but they suffocate the opponent and set up later tactics. 2. Timing over tactics. Magnus didn't dive into tactics on move 7, he waited for the precise moment, qc4, when black had no good options. 3. Piece harmony. Notice how every piece had a role: knights on c3/f5, queen on c2/c4, rooks on b1/d1, king tucks safely on g2. That's key to high-level play. If you enjoyed this breakdown, consider subscribing and hitting the bell.
Drop a comment below with which opening you want to see Magnus smash next.
Until then, train hard, stay sharp, and remember, the best tactics come from good strategy.
Peace out.